If you spent the last few days listening to various intellects of the internet, outer columns and airwaves, you'd conclude that both Ashes captains are blithering idiots who have never heard of cricket, much less played it. After the first 2 days of the Adelaide Test, England's Joe Root was variously portrayed as reckless, stupid, arrogant, ignorant, and cowardly for deciding to bowl first after winning the toss. By the third evening and into the fourth, the same adjectives were applied to Australia's Steve Smith for declining to enforce the follow-on, having bowled out England 215 runs behind. Smith was also criticised for declaring too early, for not reviewing one decision, and for reviewing 2 others. Apparently he was supposed to be umpiring the game, as well as playing it and annoying Jimmy Anderson. In the end, Smith won by a comfortable 120 runs, and Root was a decent partnership away from a win himself. The factor was his decision at the toss, it was the poor decisions made by his players throughout. The funniest part of the whole sideshow was the level of hindsight genius from the sidelines. When Root chose to bowl, people said it was daring and risky. After Australia batted for 2 days, people said it was idiotic. Most of the latter had been willing to be anywhere near as loud at the start. In other words, when there was still a chance it might work, they waited to see. Only after it failed did they claim to have known so all along. Ditto Smith, slammed after Australia limped to stumps on the third day at 4 for 53, even though a lot of those people had been more circumspect when the innings started at 0 for 0. People are obsessed with the supposed pitfalls of bowling first. Apparently this surrenders the initiative and guarantees defeat. Yet the win-loss rate for Test teams batting first is just over 52%. Really, it's as much of a coin flip as the one we overemphasize. So the conditions only need to offer a slight bowling advantage, and that should be enough to offset the historical skew towards batting. Certainly on pitches that fall apart, you don't want to be chasing in the fourth innings. But you can also bat yourself into a strong position in the second, with good conditions across the second or third days. Mostly it makes little difference. What matters is the strength of the teams. People still carry on about Nasser Hussain at the Gabba in 2002. A weak English side was playing one of the most ruthless Australian teams in history. Had he opted to bat first, what would have changed? England might have been bowled out for 79 on the first day rather than the last, Australia would have piled up runs batting second, and a thumping loss would have been delivered in a variant form. But no one would still be bagging Hussain about making the wrong call, because he would have done the expected thing. Or take India in home games this century. Lost the toss. Won 28 tests and lost 6. Bowling first. Won 30 and lost 6. None of that stuff matters when you have a massive advantage. Root's problem was bowling first, it was bowling badly.